Would Goku fall for Itachi's Genjutsu? Could Goku, a mega heavyweight, fall into an illusion from a Naruto character? This is one of the oldest questions in the world of debates. Goku is one of the most powerful warriors of all time, so could a simple type of technique from the Naruto universe do anything against him? And if someone like Itachi used it against him, would it work? Come with me because you're finally going to get the answer to this question, and it's going to blow your mind. Let's go. In Naruto's world, Krillin is a god. Goku in Itachi's hands turns into a samba dancer. Goku destroys the planet. Itachi wins with a blink. You've probably heard one of these arguments, right? Whether on Facebook, in forums, or even on YouTube, the war between the Naruto and Dragon Ball fandoms has always been present. Since both are perhaps the most popular shonen series in the world, people have always compared the power levels of these two universes. But let's be honest. When it comes to power, sheer power, the Dragon Ball universe wins by a landslide. Universes. Because in Dragon Ball, there are at least 12 universes, and in each of them, there are characters as strong as those in the main universe, which is Universe 7. So in a straight-up fight between the two worlds, Dragon Ball characters would undoubtedly come out on top. But at the same time, while that's true, Naruto has various types of techniques that are more hacks than brute power, and some of them could indeed be a problem for Dragon Ball characters. Could Genjutsu be one of these things? Well, you're like, you can be sure of that because your like is extremely powerful, really tough. The discussion is old. Could Goku fall into a Genjutsu? I believe this question is asked incorrectly. That's not what we should be asking. But you'll understand that in a moment. First of all, what is Genjutsu? Unlike ninjutsu or taijutsu, which attack the body directly, Genjutsu techniques create false sensations in the victim's nervous system. They're illusionary techniques. And although it might seem silly, it's a type of technique that's very dangerous within the Naruto universe because some users are specialized in it and can manipulate you without you even realizing it. That's where the problem lies. Some Genjutsu create false images in your mind, while others make you feel pain. It depends a lot on the user's level and will. The first argument that arises in these debates is always Goku doesn't have chakra, so Genjutsu wouldn't work on him. It's true, Goku doesn't have chakra. Wait, what is chakra again? Many people think that chakra is something that started to exist after Kaguya arrived on Earth and ate the chakra fruit, and that chakra is something that originated from her. But it's not quite like that. And if you've seen my video explaining everything you need to know about chakra, you're already aware of this. Chakra, folks, is basically the mix of your mental energy and your physical energy. You put these two things in a blender, and chakra is born from that mixture. What happened back in the past was that Kaguya was the first creature on Earth to have chakra. She ate the fruit from the tree, which awakened extremely powerful chakra. But even before that, she already had chakra since she's an Otsutsuki who traveled from another galaxy to Earth. So when Hagoromo and Homura were born, they were the first terrestrial creatures born with chakra. And people often mistakenly think that Hagoromo went around distributing his chakra, and that's why people have chakra today. That's not it. Hagoromo did pass on his chakra to others, but he did so to implement the Ninshu religion, which promoted connection and understanding among people through chakra. Furthermore, he also taught people the mysteries of chakra so that they could produce it. Hagoromo's role was to pass on knowledge about chakra to others, and this was passed down through generations until ninjas emerged. Proof of this is the elder toad Gamamaru, who in the anime was the one who taught Hagoromo how to use senjutsu. Senjutsu involves balancing the energy of nature with the user's chakra. So Gamamaru and probably a bunch of other toads already knew how to use chakra even before Hagoromo started passing chakra around in the anime. So chakra already existed on Earth before Kaguya arrived. All this to say that anyone can produce chakra. If you have physical energy and mental energy and combine these two energies, you'll produce chakra. But Goku doesn't produce chakra, so he wouldn't fall for Genjutsu, right? Well, let's ask another question. Is it only those with chakra who fall for Genjutsu? That's a good one. Another line from the manga creates confusion in the fandom. A line from Jiraiya at the beginning of Shippuden led the fandom to believe for years that Genjutsu is based on controlling the opponent's chakra. But it's not quite like that. What happens is that you use Genjutsu on one of the opponent's 5 senses, and this gives you control over the chakra in their brain. Controlling the chakra in the person's head is a consequence of Genjutsu, not a condition for using it. But for those who don't believe, let's provide more evidence of this. Do you remember that when Kaguya arrived, she went and trapped everyone in the Infinite Tsukuyomi, right? But hold on. The Infinite Tsukuyomi is a Genjutsu, and she used it at a time when most people hadn't discovered chakra yet. And yet everyone fell for it. No one had molded chakra at that time. And when Madara used the Infinite Tsukuyomi in the war, even regular cats and dogs fell for the Genjutsu, animals that don't know how to mold chakra. Even civilians, like the daimyos, fell for it. That's the only Genjutsu that works without the person having chakra. Well, what about Itachi, who put a civilian under a Genjutsu just to distract Jiraiya? Itachi doesn't have infinite Tsukuyomi, right? Check out the scans that the editor is putting on the screen. Anyway, I think with all these points, it's already clear that no, you don't need to have chakra to fall for Genjutsu. We have several proofs of that. So people like Goku or anyone from the Dragon Ball universe could indeed be concerned about Genjutsu. But after all, does Goku fall for it or not? Folks, a Genjutsu is created when a ninja encodes a medium that comes into contact with the person's brain's nervous system to control their mind through the 5 senses. What the ninja has to do is choose one of these senses and then choose a medium to launch the illusion. Chose hearing? Okay, then the medium for applying the Genjutsu will be sounds. For example, Tayuya uses her flute to make a sound that puts the person under Genjutsu. What she's doing there is encoding the Genjutsu message into sound waves that propagate through the environment until they reach the sensory system responsible for picking up sound vibrations. This Genjutsu, decoded into sound waves, makes its way all the way to the mind, which interprets the meaning of the nervous signals. That's what makes you fall into a Genjutsu, manipulation of the 5 senses. And if you have one of the senses, that's it. People can cast Genjutsu on you. There's no immunity to Genjutsu. Well, there is, if you don't have the senses. If you're blind and someone tries to catch you in a visual deception, it won't work. If you're deaf, it's the same for sound Genjutsu. Some animals, like insects, don't have a prosencephalic structure in the brain, so they don't fall for illusions either. Anyway, you only don't fall for Genjutsu if you don't have one of the senses, or if you block the medium through which the Genjutsu is being launched, like putting your earphones playing Linkin Park at maximum volume so you don't hear anything. It's no use being the galaxy's master fucker like Goku, because even people who are Genjutsu specialists still fall for Genjutsu. Itachi, for example, fell for Tayuya's Genjutsu cast by Kabuto, and Kurenai fell for Itachi's Genjutsu. Here we're talking about 2 ninjas who are experts in Genjutsu. They specialize their entire fighting style in using Genjutsu. But they're not immune to Genjutsu either. Even if it's someone much weaker than you casting the Genjutsu, you're still susceptible to falling for it. Because Itachi also fell for Kurenai's Genjutsu, except that since he's a pro in this area, he managed to break it and send it back to her. But he fell for it. And that's where the main point comes in. Falling into a Genjutsu is one thing. Now whether you'll get out of it is another matter entirely. So the question we should be asking is, could Goku get out of a Genjutsu? For those who think Goku or any of the Z Warriors are just a bunch of muscle-bound fools, you're dead wrong. These guys not only lift weights on the bench press, but also undergo extensive mental training. Goku himself has been fighting against illusions since he was a brat. He had to face many people who used illusions in life. In fact, one of the things the Z Warriors did to train was to simulate real battles in their minds, and this made their minds stronger and stronger. In Dragon Ball Z, We saw tough guys like Chiaotzu and Babidi, who had attacks that controlled people's minds. There was even the case of Majin Vegeta, which is basically Vegeta being controlled by Babidi. But even so, Vegeta managed to resist that mental control, which surely required a huge psychic strength. Plus, Vegeta is also an example of a Saiyan who can control his Uzaru form, which is a completely crazy and uncontrollable form. But with mental training, Vegeta managed to master that form. So the folks in Dragon Ball have every condition to get out of an illusion. But in my opinion, the biggest problem with a Genjutsu is precisely realizing that you're in one. Even though I believe Goku could get out of a Genjutsu, it would only happen if he realized he had fallen into one. That's because Genjutsu alters your perception of time and space and makes you see and feel whatever the user wants. Sometimes just a small change in your perception is enough, like when Itachi caught Deidara in a Genjutsu. Deidara thought he was doing great, but in the end, it was all a Genjutsu. If the user creates an illusion where everything is different, like Tayuya's illusions, then Goku would probably notice and would be able to break free immediately. But when we bring someone like Itachi to the table, who subtly changes things happening so that the enemy doesn't suspect they've fallen into an illusion, then it's more complicated. And a disadvantage of not having chakra is that sensor ninjas can feel their own agitated chakra when they're in a Genjutsu. But since Goku doesn't have chakra, he wouldn't be able to feel that. Plus, even this perception of having agitated energy can be manipulated by the Genjutsu user. Deidara trained his eye to recognize Genjutsu from the Sharingan. But for those who have zero knowledge about Sharingan and about Genjutsu, like the Dragon Ball universe, it wouldn't be easy. And there are still Genjutsus like Shisui's, which manipulate you without you even realizing it, and without giving you any chance to suspect you're being manipulated. This one would be very useful against these guys. Anyway, to wrap it up, let's get to the verdict. Goku and all the folks from Dragon Ball could indeed fall for a Genjutsu. But most of them would be able to get out of the simpler Genjutsu and even some stronger ones. But if they get caught in perception-altering Genjutsu, then I think it's complicated for them. Against Genjutsu from people like Itachi, Shisui, Madara, Sasuke, and Kaguya, they probably wouldn't be able to escape. But anyway, what do you think? What's your opinion? Comment below because I want to know.